I'm Seher Zama. In the top focus, the Election Commission has today rejected demands. All of the demands there that were put forth by 22 opposition parties, one of them regarding the VVPATs as well. The first postal ballot will be counted from 8 a.m., EVM counting from 8:30 a.m. and then after EVM counting is over, VVPAT counting will be done. This is, of course, as per the earlier schedule. The Election Commission continues to stick to that original schedule with no changes. The demand that was put forth by 22 opposition parties having been rejected by the Election Commission. Let's get in further inputs. We have with us our senior news editor Mandar Fanse, also our correspondent Ayushman with those details here. First to you, Mandar, in this decision here that has been taken by the Election Commission, there were a list of demands by the opposition. But what we're beginning to understand now, that each and every demand on that list has been outright turned down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way EC was deliberating about those demands, and they had met earlier in this morning, and at that backdrop, especially when it comes to the total dismissal from the EC of those demands of 21 political parties. Just now, what Mr. Prakash Javadekar, the senior BJP leader, has clearly told and clearly stated that this is what is the bankruptcy on account of all these 21 parties in the opposition, because they don't have anything otherwise to say and come forth with. Apart from that, of course, the most important aspect of his statement was the wins basically, which were already experienced by almost all these political parties, be it DMK, be it left government in the Kerala. All these governments, whenever they had won in the previous elections, that time also EVM was there, and despite of that time, when these political parties win, then there is no problem in EVM. When these political parties are losing the election, then there is a problem in EVM. That's what is a kind of a hypocrisy, is what Mr. Javadekar was telling about, and he was vehemently very firm on his statement that this shows that there is a clear bankruptcy in the opposition, and the opposition is completely baffled.
Okay. All right. Mandar, I'm going to be getting to the point on what's going to be the opposition's next option here. But let's also get in more details from our correspondent Ayushman, who's of course been tracking those developments from within the Election Commission. Ayushman, any particular reason that has been given out in this decision as well? Because these were demands that were raised as per instances and allegations that were seen in the 7th phase of the elections, as per the opposition's understanding of what could go wrong. So any reason given by the Election Commission?
Well, sir, the exact official order is yet to come, but the sources have stated that the Election Commission has rejected the demand of opposition, in which they had demanded that the VVPAT slips should be counted and matched first prior to the counting taking place. The Election Commission felt that if you look at the timing, it is less than 24 hours left for the counting, and when the opposition approached the Election Commission a day earlier, it must have been 48 hours before the results are announced. The opposition wanted that the existing rules should change. Now that is not possible. This is what the Commission officials say, that at the end moment you can't change the rule, and that's why the Commission officials felt that the demand of opposition, in which they said that VVPAT slips match to that of the EVMs before counting, that was not possible, and that is why the demand has been rejected.
All right. Mandar, so what are we expecting next? Because this was not just with respect to a massive show of strength for the opposition, but these are all 22 opposition leaders standing together, even those who still have chances of doing fairly well in each of their states, restricting in each of their states. What is going to be the opposition's next step? Even if there is an option to going to the Supreme Court, can that be done now?
It is all under consideration as what we learn from the opposition, especially from the main opposition parties. But apart from that, most importantly, the kind of statements which are coming from the opposition is also a very worrisome factor, because remember, be it from the senior leaders in AAP, or for that matter even a senior leader like Rajbhar, who's saying that there will be a civil war like a situation, and that war like situation, if at all, these kind of polls which were not expected by the opposition, the results would come. The way exit polls are predicting the results, if that kind of a situation is there, then obviously the opposition will react in some or the other way. That is what is the most important aspect of concern. And this particular concern, while is there, at the same time, Mr. Javadekar, while we were here a while before, was also he was clearly stating that these kind of statements that itself are kind of an indication that the whole opposition is baffled, and they are not able to extrapolate any other policy, any other strategy ahead of the time, and that's why this is the reaction coming in from the opposition. Most importantly, it is from a while from now, possibly the opposition will go ahead and think about going into the court again with their demands, which the demands specifically which they have done yesterday,
Okay.
and which have been rejected today by the EC, and against again raising those demands, they will possibly go to the court.
Right. All right. Ayushman, one of the reasons here for this demand not being accepted, is it just about the factor that this could have delayed the announcement of the results? Is that just it?
That might be a reason, but unless and until the official order comes, and in which the Election Commission will explain as to what were the prima facie reason which led to this decision. But if you see, Sahar, the opposition wanted the entire process which was existing to be changed. Currently, the Election Commission first declares the result.
Right.
The counting
Okay,
takes
stay with
place,
us, Ayushman.
and
Getting
then
in a
the
voice
VVPAT
here
slips are
from the
matched to the
opposition, the
EVMs.
Congress. We have with us Mr. Brijesh Kalappa with us over the phone line. Thanks for being with us, Brijesh. What are we expecting next from the opposition?
No, that will have to be examined. The contours of the decision will be examined. But ultimately, I think as far as the Election Commission is concerned, they ought to have considered the one request, that is to first count the EVVPAT and then to correlate them to the EVMs. So that would have been far better, and that would have actually,
Right.
sent a signal across the country that all political parties, including the Election Commission, are serious about correlating the two. And I think this correlation is what everybody is looking for. And the fact that the 69% of the vote share is with the political parties which have sought this decision, while the one party with the 31% of the vote share
Okay.
did not want this decision to happen. It still tells you the entire truth.
But Brijesh, one very simple question here. Instead of further hair splitting on the vote share at this point of time, at least, please, because this is a question of all your demands having been rejected by the Election Commission after taking it into consideration overnight. So, what really is the opposition going to do next? Will it accept respectfully in the understanding or wisdom of the Election Commission, perhaps in one of the reasons being in believing in the procedure that has been laid out, which is to exist, and also that your demands could have delayed the results?
No, there's no question of delay of results. You're only speaking of 5 EVPAT machines. So where is the question of any delay? It's such a small number as it is. As it is, even the BJP is saying it's such a small number. So where's the question of delaying the entire process? Just first count the VVPATs and be done with it. What's the problem? Who can say that this is such a high,
All right.
high number
So
of
you're saying
counting
that
and
this is very simple. Of course, you're making it sound at a very simplistic procedure that could perhaps be changed last minute. Has not been. The Election Commission has turned it down. Stay with us, please. Narendra Taneja of the BJP with us over the phone line here as well. Narendra, thanks for being with us. Your first reaction, are you satisfied for the manner in which the Election Commission has decided that no single aspect of those demands has been taken into consideration, and neither will there be any change in procedure?
It's not about being satisfied or or whatever. You see, there's something between these parties and the Election Commission, because the Election Commission is a constitutional body and we respect their autonomy. The question is that, when they won election in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, why didn't they go to the Election Commission that time with the same request? Why didn't they do it? And why did they do it last week or the week before and all that? The question is, now they know it very well. Tomorrow by this time, the country will get to know, the world will get to know that they have lost. And they have lost the, trust of the people. People have voted them out everywhere, across the country. And they have started basically now blaming the same election commission. But the question is that people of India can't see, they can see through the game. They can see through the game. People of India are much smarter than they think are. The people of India are much smarter than these people. They know people are not behind them. That's why they are losing. It's not because of VVPAT or Election Commission and all that. They should go back to the drawing board and they should really try to find out what happened, why people have refused to back them, why they've lost the trust of the people. Those are the questions they should be addressing. Instead of that, they are not blaming Election Commission. They are blaming the people of India. They're insulting 130 crore people of India, saying, oh, you didn't vote for us? Look, this is what we're going to do. Indirectly, they're actually accusing the people of India. They're insulting them. But as far as we are concerned, this is a matter between the Election Commission and these parties. More they do it, more trust they're going to lose of the people of this country.
Right, but Narendran, in doing so, in raising those demands, the opposition here also says that because of the nature of doubt that was being raised in the process in several videos that were circulating here as well, that is of course pertaining to the security of the strong room, there are people across the country watching these videos, and there was a requirement to restore that trust directly by the Election Commission.
No, the question is why these videos are not coming from the state governed by Congress party or TMC and other party. Why? Because you see, they are not doing that. So the question is very simple. It's all politically motivated. The point is here is very simple. If you have got, they don't go by social media. They are the one who are generating these things. I mean, you ask me, I'm not an IT savvy person, but even I can generate such a thing. And then you go and basically this is just to create the confusion, malign the Election Commission of India, malign the whole electoral process, and shame Election Commission of India. But they know it. Actually, Election Commission is just an excuse. They want to shame the people of this country, 130 crore people of India. When in a democracy you shame the people,
Please respond to that. If you could please respond to that, because so far the opposition all along has been saying that this is not a political demand, this is a demand for the people of the country. Narendra Taneja, they're saying that instead you're shaming the country, you're shaming our electoral process. Brijesh.
See, first is that the electoral process has been set by the Election Commission of India. Now, like I have already told you, there is these political parties which constitute 69% of the total electoral base, right? They have now appealed to the Election Commission. They are asking for certain guidelines to be followed by the Election Commission. First is that the Election Commission we have found a spate of EVMs which are found all over the country, right? Now, the Election Commission says that these are reserve EVMs and that they are not, the Election Commission used EVMs which are in safe custody. But the Election Commission guidelines themselves say that all EVMs, whether reserve EVMs, whether used EVMs, they should be under strong room, one. Two, that they should be kept under armed guard, right? We have seen a spate of these election EVM machines which are all over the country, right? Have we ever found a situation like this before 2014? This is the first question. Now, second question is that when we are raising this issue, when 69% of the vote share, parties representing 69% of the vote share are asking this issue, why is that one political party with only 31% of the vote share, why is it running away from this issue? Do they not want a clean electoral process, an electoral process which is above board, right? So the very fact that they are not joining us in this request, tells you the entire story. That itself exposes the BJP wholly that they are beneficiaries.
That being your view on questioning why the BJP and the NDA is largely satisfied with the process. All right.
30 seconds. No, just very simple.
Yes, very quickly, please.
First of all, if it was the same process, the same EVM machines, that voted them to power in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. So indirectly, what they are trying to tell the people of this country, that election we won actually because there was something wrong with the machine. Actually, we are not the winner. Then they should resign from all these three state firms, call a press conference in the constitution, and then explain that, look, because they got it, by thanks to the default machine, and now we want actually a new election in
Okay.
Madhya Pradesh.
All right. I apologize for that interruption. We'll need to go across to a reaction here that's coming in from Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan as well. Let's take a listen in.
तो मध्य प्रदेश में फिर बंटाढार युग लौट आया है, अंधेरे का राज होने लगा है और भोपाल में ही 10 बार बिजली जा रही है। कल सवेरे से मतगणना है, इसलिए बिजली के भरोसे ना रहे चुनाव आयोग, जनरेटर का इंतजाम कर ले। वैसे भी दिग्विजय सिंह अपने साथ झंडा और बैनर के साथ जनरेटर लेके चलते थे। बार बार बिजली जा रही है और नहीं तो विपक्ष को एक और बहाना मिलेगा कि बिजली चली गई, और कमलनाथ जी तो सिद्ध हस्त हैं इसमें। वो आरोप लगा देंगे कि भाजपा ने बिजली गुल करवा दी। उनको उनके प्रशासन और सरकार चलाने की क्षमताओं पर भरोसा नहीं है। और इसलिए मैं गंभीरता से मांग करता हूं ये कि काउंटिंग जहां हो रही है मतगणना स्थल पर सब जगह जनरेटर की व्यवस्था करवाई जाए, ताकि बिजली अगर जाए तो जनरेटर की रोशनी में काउंटिंग हो सके।
Let's get in more voices, more political reactions on this development. We have Mr. M.B. Rajesh of the CPM with us over the phone line here as well. Thank you for being with us, sir. Your first reaction to the Election Commission's decision that this is going to be procedure as per laid down, no changes, none of those demands of the opposition taken into account.
This is the latest instance of Election Commission rejecting demands made by opposition in ensuring free and fair elections. And the Election Commission has been favoring the ruling party time and again throughout this process of this election. And
so, Mr. Rajesh, are you saying that this decision by the Election Commission is once again with respect to favoring the ruling party?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. And it's unfortunate that the Election Commission has failed to understand the responsibility of an Election Commission and to discharge its responsibility as a constitutional authority. The history will hold Election Commission responsible for this, and this period will be known as the dark age in the history of Indian democracy.
Right. Mr. Rajesh, what is going to be the next step of the opposition, all 22 parties of you? What next then?
That I cannot explain to you right now, because 22 parties have jointly met Election Commission and made this demand. They will meet and decide the future course of action.
Yes, please stay with us because we're getting in further inputs here coming in from my colleague Mandar Fanse here with us here as well. Mandar, we've gotten certain opposition voices. They're still unsure what they're going to do next. But given the fact, the vehemence with which these demands were raised, what can the opposition possibly do now? I mean, are they going to just let the argument die in those allegations that they'd raised against the Election Commission?
There are two things. Basically, the kind of demands which they have done, the demand seems to be a very 11th hour kind of a demand. And in that demand, the beginning of those counting of those VVPATs, and then if that fails, then what needs to be done, and whether the whole assembly segment has to be recounted, or whether that particular area will be recounted, that was also not really cleared about. But even if for instance you consider that kind of a time, that will be a huge time if at all those VVPATs, the initial VVPATs are not really matching with the actual numbers of the EVM. So that means the time will be more consumed, and possibly the Election Commission doesn't have that much levy as of now to consider that kind of a demand. But this is little too late demand in that context. But apart from that, of course, they would possibly think, and they would again huddle up in some time from now, and some of the sources whom we were talking a while ago, they were also considering the legal options.
Right.
So right now, what we can just understand from these sources are they are just thinking about the legal options, and they would possibly go to the court before the day ends.
Right. Mandar, in the other aspect of this demand, this is with respect to security and strong rooms in EVMs that was seen in certain instances being taken across shifting places for whatever possible reason. Has the Election Commission stated anything on that front, on security for strong rooms where EVMs are stored?
As far as Election Commission is giving all the kind of statements since almost last 2 days till today, they have also formed a special war room kind of a situation. They have also formed a helpline, 24/7 helpline for such kind of complaints, and they are pretty sure and pretty confident about that such kind of incidences are really not going to affect what the opposition parties are telling about. But apart from that, most importantly, the SOP is also well defined. The rest of the procedures are also well defined. So as far as Election Commission is concerned, they are maintaining what they are saying since beginning. In those sporadic incidences which you mentioned, there also they have given enough kind of statements, and those statements can be questioned, but they have come up with their own answer on those statements. But apart from that, the most important factor is the opposition parties now, post even Supreme Court's orders, will they now go to the court? That remains to be asked to the opposition parties now.
To go back to the court again. That's right. Mandar, thanks for getting us those inputs here, and all the other political voices who've spoken to us here on this. It is a wrap on the show. News and updates that continue right here.